And now their opponent for today's game, Team Quebec. Accueillons maintenant l'équipe du Québec. Nous demandons maintenant au capitaine de chaque formation de s'amener au centre du terrain pour le tirage au sort. We would ask the captains for each team to please proceed to center field for the coin toss. There he does. There he does. Yep. The referees for today's game, les arbitres pour la match d'aujourd'hui. Avec le chapeau jaune, number 6, Kyle Miller is the referee. Umpire, Charles Wade. Down judge, Jeremy Corvella. Line judge, Mark Rempel. Back judge, Stephen Gray. Side judge, Patrick Mullins. Field judge, Larry Leduc. Prior to the playing of O Canada, we'd like to acknowledge that this event is taking place on Treaty 6 land, home of the Cree, Blackfoot, Dene, Métis, and many other proud Indigenous peoples whose presence continues to enrich our land and our society. Avant d'entendre l'hymne national, nous désirons reconnaître que cet événement se déroule sur le territoire du Traité 6, domicile des peuples Cree, Pieds Noirs, Dene, Métis et plusieurs autres peuples autochtones dont la présence continue d'enrichir notre pays et notre société. At this time, we'd ask you to please rise for the playing of our national anthem. Veuillez vous lever et retirer vos chapeaux et casquettes pour la présentation de notre hymne national.
What's going on? Oh, I got trouble.
Welcome back for the second game of the 2023 edition of the Football Canada Cup here in Edmonton, Alberta at Foote Field. My name's Connor Toffin, joined by Chad Hill. We got Team Quebec coming into town today to face off against Team Manitoba. Chad, these games always interesting, new players. playing with new teammates, and should be a good game of football, though.
Yeah, this one should be a really exciting game. We got the number 3 seeded Quebec going up against number 6 seeded Manitoba. Seeding's, of course, based off of last year's performance, even though most of this roster has turned over. So we should be in for a excellent game this hot, sunny afternoon here in Edmonton, Alberta.
It is hot outside. We're looking at no clouds in the sky. It's a totally blue sky. A little bit of smoke still. It's just been kind of hanging over Edmonton here for a long time with the wildfires. Overall, though, compared to what we've had, really not much smoke in the air at all. I think air quality index was at like a 2 when I woke up. So perfect conditions pretty much today, but it is about plus 30 outside. Field level sometimes even a little more. So it'll be a hot one out there for the team from Manitoba and the team from Quebec.
Yep, hot and humid. Let's hope that all these players have been hydrating for the last couple of days. I know with travel sometimes it's difficult on young athletes, but we're in for a hot one.
So Quebec is going to get a chance with the ball first. A good kickoff here, taken at the 10-yard line by Team Quebec. Crossing the 25, there is a flag on the plate. And bouncing off of the tackle and hitting the outside, somehow still hasn't gone down. And Team Quebec barring the flag here. That was Lucier Waugh with the big return up to the 43, but we're going to have to check the flag.
It looks like this is in that area where normally there's an illegal block or a hold. We'll see what, yes, head official Mr. Miller makes the call going against the return team.
Good run back there, though, by Lucier Waugh. He's something to look out for later in the game. I don't know if I'd kick it back to him the next time already. Looked like he was taken down inside his own 30, ends up working out to the 43. This play, though, will be negated, and off the holding, this call is going to come way back.
Yeah, Lucier Waugh, he looked patient right there. I was ready to say, hit it. There's a seam there. Hit it. Get north-south as fast as you can. But he did a little pitter-patter shake and then busted it to the outside. Yeah, he's a player to watch for. Looks dangerous.
So Quebec is going to go all the way back to their own 11-yard line, where they'll open up this game. Thomas Leroux in at quarterback. Has Leonard Lemay behind him. Handoff goes to Lemay. Looking up the middle, and decent gain there. Falls forward. Might probably get about half that first down yardage.
Yeah, good gain on first down. And of course, field position not where Team Quebec wanted to be starting from, pinned deep inside their own territory, but pick up a 5 yards on first down. Second down and moderate here, and physical play right away. You see defensive back and receivers getting into it already on the field. There's a lot of pride on the line here. You could tell when Quebec took the field with the fleur-de-lis and the flag. These boys are ready to play today.
2nd and 5, maybe a long 5. We'll call it 6. They'll fake the handoff, looking out to the left. Perfect spiral to the sideline. It's hauled in by Antoine Goupil. And that's well into first down territory as Quebec moves the chains for the first time.
I'm really impressed with the timing on this play. A little play action here. Quarterback loads, gets the ball out wide to number 2, Goupil, right as he's coming out of his cut. That's a very hard play to defend. So good tackle by the defensive back to limit the gain, but that's just really nice timing on that play.
That pushes the ball out to the Quebec 28. Leroux will hand it off again. And this time Lemay, an even better first down run, gets right near that first down chain. And Quebec is pushing the ball early.
Well, it looks like Quebec wants to assert their dominance on the line early on. 2 really successful runs between the tackles with Lemay, and that was fantastic blocking. You can see the defensive line of Manitoba is going backwards. That bodes well for Quebec early on.
Quebec's going to line up in a heavy set here. Short yardage quarterback into the game. There is a flag on the play, and Quebec gets an amazing push. That quarterback sneak went for nearly 10 yards.
Hey, if you can average 10 yards on a quarterback sneak, you keep doing it.
See what this flag is for here.
Often it's lined up offside by the defensive line. You got to give that full yard in Canadian ball.
And by the way, you know what helps getting 10 yards on a quarterback sneak is when your short yardage quarterback is Jan Tremblay, standing at 6'4", 245.
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt.
He's a defensive end size.
So Quebec has some big quarterbacks. They have dressed 3 for this tournament. Elliot Drapeau coming in at 6'5", 179, so an inch taller. but well over 60 pounds slimmer. So they'll put LaRue back into the game. This one only stands at 6'1". Another handoff run up the middle here for LeMay, taken down after a gain of about 3. Best play for the Manitoba defense so far.
Yeah, Gillespie with the tackle there, linebacker out of Oak Park in Winnipeg. But again, you know what, they get up 4 yards there on first down, and Quebec's just, they're asserting their game plan, it looks like. Run between the tackles, let that O-line take over the game early, and it's going to be a long, hot afternoon if the O-line can keep pushing this way.
2nd and 7, ball right on the 50 here for Quebec. LeMay looks right, and it's nearly intercepted. Batted down. Matthew Gillespie with the play for the Manitoba defense.
2 plays in a row for Gillespie. I like the way he breaks on this ball. He breaks on the curl, gets his hand in for the bat down. You know, I thought that ball came out good timing. I didn't think the Quebec quarterback held on too late. Sometimes you have to give credit to the defenders. They're here to play as well. And
just a perfect read there from Gillespie. Second later, and that's picked off.
That's right.
So Quebec going to have to bring the punting unit onto the field. Manitoba sending some pressure, but able to get it away. Is Team Manitoba. And Craig Hayden got away a good one. Caught it inside the 25, and they're not going to move it much more. There's a flag after the play.
Yeah, late flag coming out. I thought it could have been a no yards penalty, which would be the 15-yard variety as the ball was in the air, which is why, as coaches, we always preach, catch the ball in the air, draw the penalty. Yeah, that is the call. It just came late. It was, Larry Leduc, veteran official, calling it late there. We got a great crew of officials. The majority are from the Edmonton region, with Kyle Miller being the head referee on the day.
Interesting note, though, on that Quebec offense. It looked pretty in rhythm, in sync. In the first game today between BC and Ontario, there wasn't a lot of rhythm being found. Remember, these are teams, guys that have never played with each other before. Manitoba going to get their first chance. First play, looking downfield, and it's just out of the reach of Owen Fair.
Yeah, Ansiu just missed him by about 6 inches. I thought that was a pretty good throw in between the coverage with the safety rolling back, but just missed. But I like the idea with Manitoba. Take your shot early. If anything, this will make the Quebec defense maybe play less aggressive and have to back off. Could open up some nice curls and hitches later on.
Ansiu, 6'4" quarterback, coming in at 190 out of St. Paul's in Winnipeg. Going to feel the pressure on this one. And that pass knocked down. Huge play for the Quebec D-line.
Kabolambi with the knockdown. He just didn't get blocked. He came pretty clean off that edge. And you know, if you want to roll your quarterback out, you've got to seal that edge. And whether that's just some miscommunication in the blocking scheme between the O-line and the extra protector, be it a running back or a slot back, but somebody has to add in or help out that offensive tackle there, because you're rolling naked there, and these players are too good. This is an all-star showcase for a reason. Most of these young men are going to be playing junior, CJEP, or U-Sport in a year or two from now.
That'll bring the punting unit for Manitoba onto the field. Gabriel Yapin gets a good one away. Pretty good hang time there. Touched it around the 25. This ball is loose. Quebec able to pick it back up, and they're going to take it just outside their own 40-yard line. But a lucky bounce for Quebec as that ball was on the ground, up for grabs.
Oh, Lucier Wall got a little bit lucky there. And I love fielding the ball in the air, but it went off the fingertips, and he gets a fortuitous bounce back up into his arms. And, you know, they're wearing that baby blue. What they used to call it in the CFL, the old Argo bounce,
yep,
right, where it seems everything goes their way. So Quebec dodges a bullet early on with the lucky bounce.
So Quebec with their second chance on offense on the day, able to pick up about 20, 30 yards on their first drive before Winnipeg stopped them near midfield. They're going to go with play action here. They're going deep, and they got a lot of guys open. It's caught on the 30, and a huge gain for Team Quebec. Antoine Goupil.
Wide open down the sidelines. And, there was 3 out of the 4 receivers, I would say, were wide open down the field. Really good play action on first down. I like this play call. Call it RPO, call it what you will. That looked like good old-fashioned play action right there. Which, again, inside run game, really effective early on for Quebec. That's going to open up your play action.
Looked like Manitoba just really committed to the run there. Good play calling for Alex Supernant and his coaching staff on the Team Quebec sideline. They're going deep again, looking towards Goupil, and this one just out of the reach.
Pass falls incomplete.
Coverage there.
Defense was
absolutely
provided
perfect
by
from Manitoba.
Yeah, Quebec tries to ISO up Goupil there on the short side. They ran quads to the field or to the wide side, and on that short side or boundary, I think what they were hoping for was Goupil had some one-on-one there, but really well played by the Manitoba defensive back.
That was Toporowski on the pass defense. Snap, bit of weird timing there. There is flags, and that ball was on the ground, trying to get out of trouble, but taken down is LaRue. And we'll check the flags. As it stands, though, a big play from Manitoba and Joshua Ayer, who comes up with the sack. Awkward timing on that snap. I'm thinking this one's going to go against the offense here, Chad.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, and the snap was low to the left, sort of off the shoelaces of the quarterback. He did a good job just securing that ball and trying to turn a negative into a positive. Oh, they're calling defense.
Interesting. So Quebec going to get
Offside.
a second chance at it. And that sack brought Quebec outside their own 30. Would have had to settle for a long field goal attempt there. Sometimes in high school, that's not even a field goal attempt. We did see an attempt from 40 earlier actually made.
Yeah,
inside the 40.
The kicker earlier on for Ontario he's got a live leg.
So I'm not sure what the ranges are here in this game. They're going to go back to the running back again and stop behind the line of scrimmage. This Manitoba D-line, they've given up some yards, but they're coming up big right now.
Oh, they are. It looks like number 95 there on the play for Manitoba. Defensive lineman Connor Brindley. 6'2", 240 from Thunder Bay. Loss of a couple of yards there, and now the field goal unit comes on for Quebec. But, yeah, bend, don't break, I guess, if you're Manitoba.
Going to be a 28-yard attempt here.
Left-footed kicker.
Hayden Craig from 28, as you said, Chad, left-footed kicker from the right hash. Ball is up, and looks like we've split the uprights as Quebec puts the first 3 points on the board.
Yeah, that looked pretty smooth. And again, with limited practice time for these teams, special teams is always sort of a great mystery till you start playing the game. Chances are they didn't have much of an opportunity to have any live periods with special teams, right? So, it's different when you line up your convert field goal team in practice, and then all of a sudden in a game, you have a live defense coming at you a million miles an hour trying to block that ball.
So Manitoba is going to get the ball at their own 35, where they'll take their second offensive series of the day. And Siu stays in at quarterback. Handoff out to the left. Some running room here for Manitoba. And churning his way forward for a few extra yards is Jack Babbage.
Oh, I like the way Babbage initiated that contact and spun off for a few extra yards. Good hard run on first down to pick up 6 yards. Quebec didn't play that poorly at all, but Babbage was just able to string out a couple more yards there after the initial contact. See a lot of these big slot backs coming in motion to add into the box on these running downs. A lot of these receivers are just such weapons in every aspect of the game.
They'll give it to Babbage again. Tons of room down the right side. He's got some green in front of him. It's a foot race across the 30. Out of the reach of the defender, and he's into the end zone. What a run for Jack Babbage in Manitoba on the board, but there is a flag, and this one's coming back.
Holding in the backfield. And that is a tough break for Manitoba. You could feel the momentum shift and the tide turn with that run. But I think they got the hold at the point of attack, to be honest. So this is obviously not a popular call with our Manitoba viewers, but I think the officials got this one right. And I'm kind of hard on the refs sometimes, but I think they've been spot a little bit. But I think they've been spot on here.
So they do bring the ball all the way back. Now that negates the touchdown. Obviously, the conversation with a hold is like, well, that touchdown probably wouldn't have happened without it, right? But now, not only do they negate the touchdown, but that ball is going to come way back. It was a second and about 3.5. Now we're looking at a second and about 13.5 here. So
remember this if Manitoba has to punt the ball.
But good signs from a Manitoba offense.
Yeah, get the run game going. Babbage looks dangerous.
Might not be able to use him here in the second and long. Ansiu looking right, and that one through the hands of Max Payne, whose name I love.
Yeah, that guy's taking it for name of the tournament, I think.
For sure.
Max Payne.
14 now from the 31.
Just through his hands, though, and that's going to bring the punting unit onto the field for Manitoba after.
Bright future if your name's Max Payne. I don't know if it's me
sure.
football or what, but I mean, if your name's Max Payne, you're set up for success.
So remember, last time Quebec had some issues on the return. The ball ended up on the ground. See if they're a little more sure-handed on this one.
Is that Lucier Waugh, 88, still back there? He looked dangerous on the opening kick. Oh, poor snap.
Oh, able to get a good punt away, though. And that is Lucier Waugh on the return. Fields it over his shoulder. Cleanly, works down the sideline, and a good return there for Lucier Waugh, running out of space, but able to pick up a few extra yards, tiptoeing that sideline.
Yeah, and credit to the Manitoba punter because he got one of those long snaps that wasn't long enough. It skipped off the turf, and he was able to pick it up clean and get the ball away on a very decent punt.
Ends up being, I don't know what that was, 30, 40 yards net difference still. Well, on a bad snap, you'll take that all day if you're Gabriel Yapin. And talked about it a little bit, but sometimes in high school you see really poor kicking and punting. It looks like this game we're not going to see much of it. Yeah,
they've got some designated specialists on each team here.
Run to start the drive for Quebec, and it's a good one. Not quite going to get to the first down marker, but it'll be close as LeMay falls down near the 53.
And this is what would concern me if I'm a Manitoba coach, is just too much success on first down running between the tackles right now. This Quebec offensive line is looking very dominant.
So in the same situation earlier, they went short yardage. This time, LaRue was going to stay in the shotgun.
They might take their shot here. Second and short. A lot of coaches like to take a shot deep here.
Watch for the play action. Here's a pass over the middle, wide open, brought in by LeMontagne. Makes a man miss and taken down around the 40.
Yeah, Jacob LeMontagne wide open as Manitoba brought down some extra heat. It almost looked like Manitoba was in a short yardage defense trying for gap cancellation, right? I don't think they were anticipating Quebec just to line up 5 receivers and throw the ball. So, again, good play calling. I'm impressed with the play calling so far by Team Quebec.
And I think even though they don't put the short yardage on there, I think that shows that their coach trusts their short yardage unit to go in on third down, and you only get one chance.
Very much so.
Here's LaRue. Pulls the handoff. It's a play action. LaRue scrambling, just able to get the ball away as he was getting hit, and a stop for the Manitoba defense.
Okay, I want to see LaRue pull that ball. It looks like an inside zone read, so that edge player on Manitoba, usually defensive end, but that edge player is actually being read. So the quarterback can either give to the running back or he can pull it. Now, he pulled to throw the ball, I wish he would have pulled and ran it himself because I thought that edge was there. The edge player on Manitoba crashed instead of just surfing the strip, right, where we say shuffle. He chased that play, and I think they could go back to that, and it's going to be wide open for the quarterback on the pull.
LaRue to the end zone. Single coverage. Touchdown.
That's their man, Goupil.
Goupil once again. The first touchdown of the game for Quebec.
Okay, now I see why they tried to ISO him up earlier. I'm sure he's going to be their ISO'd up wide receiver where they're just going to throw those 50-50 balls up for him. He's tall. He's
only 6'8".
Yeah, well, it says 6'8". I don't know if he's actually 6'8". But he looks every bit of 6'6" anyways, and who am I to say? He could be 6'8". But that is one tall, long receiver. Throw it up to him. A 50-50 ball to that guy at that height is more like a 75-25.
So Craig Hayden on for the extra point. He's been good on a field goal already today, looking to make it a 10-point lead for Quebec, and he'll drive this one through and do just that. Yeah, Goupil's going to be a problem. He's listed at 6'8", 199, and they're looking to him a lot early here, Chad. And is there a defense for a receiver like that?
Well, why wouldn't he just put 200 even? Hey, he put 190 to 199. 6'8". No, honestly, you're gonna have to look at maybe some bracket coverage on him. Again, he knows how to use that height, it looks like. So I got to give credit to the quarterback too for throwing up a catchable ball that only he could grab, right? Yeah. And that's what I mean. 50-50. That's not even a 50-50 means, half the time your receiver's gonna come down with it. But with the height of Goupil, that's it's almost not even fair for the defense.
It's not a 50-50.
You're going to have to roll a safety over top, or I'm not sure if Manitoba can try to play a little bit of press on him down at the line of scrimmage to slow him up, have somebody play over top, but that's a matchup nightmare, though. If you have a player like that on offense, that can really impact what you can do defensively. I mean, you got to account for him.
So Quebec with a 10-point lead early. Their offense has been absolutely humming out of the gates. Manitoba, they dropped their kickoff return. Lots of time to pick it up here, though, but that's going to mean it's not going to be a big return. They only get past their 25. Mohamed Rahama on the return.
Yeah, Rahama, one of the smallest guys, probably the lightest player in the game today, listed at 140 pounds. But I'm sure he's got some speed with that diminutive size. I think he was looking upfield to see where his blocks were taking place, and he was looking at the crease before he secured the ball.
So Manitoba with another crack at it. Feels like the way Quebec's playing right now, Manitoba might need to get things going here quick, and it's not going to start now. What a play at the line of scrimmage.
Parody.
Emile Parody with the tackle for a very slight loss. And if it might actually be a gain of 1 or 2.
Yeah, it could be right around the line of scrimmage. But if you're Manitoba, I mean, at this point in the game, you have to stay composed on offense. So I like the fact that they tried to run it on first down instead of just trying for more home runs. Now they're lining up in a quads formation. See if they utilize their ISO'd up wide receiver who looks to be one-on-one.
Quarterback looking over the middle. Pass is caught and tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Aiden Bonamani able to get a short gain, but can't quite get to the first down marker.
Yeah, nice ball completed on a crossing route.
Pressure was coming there too.
It was, and gets 6-7 yards on that, which hey, it's a good play. It's harder throwing those crossing routes than what you would think if you've had limited practice time. That's another one of those timing. You gotta see how fast your receiver's going. I like the way he put the ball right in front of him, right on him. So again, a positive play. They don't move the chains, but at least the offense can come back saying, hey, we had a positive play there. But now the pressure is really on the Manitoba defense here, because if Quebec scores another one, wow, now you're digging yourself out of a hole.
Clock crossing 40 as the ball is in the air. Another decent punt here for Team Manitoba, and their kicker, Gabriel Yapin. That ball is on the ground. And what's the call? They're calling it Quebec ball. Manitoba bench does not like it.
I thought that was a fumble. We'll have to check the replay here, but that was one impactful hit by Hugo Bouillon, I believe it was, 4-4.
So clear possession. Tough to tell where. Manitoba. Tough to tell there when the ball comes out. It looked live like he fumbled it while he was up, but once again, the official down at field level has a much better angle. You just need a touch.
Yeah, we'll have to trust them, but from up here, I might beg to differ. But hey, they've been right so far. We'll give them that one. That was a close call.
So that's the second time in this game on a punt return that ball's ended up on the ground, and Quebec has been lucky enough to come up with it. Could be a far different ball game. Another good run play here for Manitoba. And they're going to hit the outside. LeMay turns the corner and gets the first down and a lot more. 16-yard gain for LeMay.
Yeah, and I don't want to take any credit away from LeMay on his inside runs because I'm saying the O-line looks quite dominant, but I'm going to give LeMay a lot of credit now for bouncing that one to the edge and using his speed, his elusiveness. This guy's a ball player. And again, this is the type of offense that can really wear down a defense. You grind it out, and then you hit your play action. Very impressed with how the Quebec offense has opened up the day here.
One last play here in the first quarter. LeMay met the line of scrimmage and taken down as the clock hits zeros here in the first. Good first quarter for Quebec, up by 10 with the ball going into the second.
Yeah, it's nice to see two defensive linemen in on that tackle. Losh was one of them, 61, I think, had the initial impact. And then Brindley, we've called his name already a couple of times.
Might not be the end. They said there was a flag, but I didn't see any. And the flag is for the end of the first quarter. There we go.
Kyle Miller's waving that flag. We're going to switch ends here. Quick turnaround.
We do want to take the time to quickly say thank you to all the Football Canada national sponsors and partners, which include Sport Canada, Volt Athletics, Game Strat, Avis, Invictus Gloves, O-Pro Mouthguards, NFL Canada, and the CFL. It takes so many people to make a weekend like this happen, Chad. And it is just really a good gathering of junior football here in the Great White North.
Oh, it is, and it's fantastic to see all these coaches out here scouting, and they'll be recruiting a lot of these young men. Just an absolutely fantastic weekend and upcoming week of football we have here. You know, most of these players are going into their senior year. There's some of them that will only be going into grade 11. We'll have 2 years left of high school, but every player you see out here is an impact player, if not an outright superstar on their high school teams. So it's fantastic when you get to see all this talent come together and play in a weeks-long tournament.
If you missed it, or if you're not too sure of what the rules are here, by the way, these games are important. It's essentially a quarterfinal game today. Winner's going to go on to play the winner of the 2-7 game tonight. Loser goes to consolation, is playing placement games the rest of the way. Open down the middle of the field. Team Quebec has yet another completion. Henriquez Guzman turns out some yak yards and goes out of bounds just at the 32.
These receivers are big too. 6'3", 218. Quebec has some size. And that was, again, a well-placed football. In stride, number 8, LaRue. Looks like a very sharp quarterback. And I like with the size of this offensive line and the strength, I like Quebec playing 5 receivers, spread out that Manitoba defense so they can't have a loaded box, get that a little bit light and just try to run on them. And then you got these weapons at receiver. You put 5 of them on the field.
Quebec is moving the ball well once again. Handoff to LeMay. Not as big of a gain as we've seen, but he's still able to fall forward for a gain of at least 5.
Yeah, and I think Brindley down around the ankles. So Brindley's been really active on that Manitoba D-line. They're going to have to account for him. But again, on first down, I mean, I'll take those 5 yards every time because that just wears down a defensive line and it wears down linebackers. And now watch for those linebackers to suck up on play action and hit them over the top.
Quebec already in field goal range. And going to be some whistles here. Free play maybe for Quebec. Looked like Manitoba was offside, and instead LaRue is going to take off and take that first down on his own. Ends up getting a gain of about 15. Now there was the offside early, and then there was another flag that came out a little later on the far sideline. Not sure if it would be the same thing.
Yeah, from our vantage point, I can't tell if they called a hold there when the quarterback got the edge, but it looks definitely like an offside call early. Multiple members of the Manitoba defense moved early. Decline the penalty. Yards gained is greater than the penalty.
So LaRue for the offside.
Right, and LaRue has wheels. He's showing it right there. So don't be surprised if they go back to that inside zone read where the quarterback can pull it out. And he's obviously an athlete.
This offense looks great for Quebec right now. This looks like a near fully functioning offense, almost in mid-season form, if you want to put it that way. Sometimes on these teams too, you'll not a big gain there for Team Quebec. I was going to say though, sometimes on these teams, you'll see a lot of players from the same schools. You'll have that really dominant school in the province. And Quebec, just kind of looking at my roster here, there's a couple guys from the same school here and there, but
It's pretty spread out, though.
seems like it's pretty spread out, so it's impressive. And obviously, head coach Alex Supranant and his staff has done a good job of getting these guys ready to play.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at Manitoba, and there's a few schools represented 5 or 6 times each.
2nd and 7. Fade to the corner! And guess who? Goupil once again!
6'8" Goupil. Okay, and again, we're going to fall in love with this receiver and what he can do.
That's
He's
a well-thrown ball, though.
But that ball's great. That is. And again, credit's got to get, the protection's great too up front. I'm just really impressed with this Quebec offense. But well-thrown football to where only his guy can come down with it, and it looks like his guy's going to come down with it an awful lot. So if you're Manitoba, you've got to get to that whiteboard. You've got to come up with something. Say, hey, we're getting gouged up the middle in the run game, but let's take death by 1,000 cuts over Goupil hitting us deep on those big ones.
Goupil looks like one of those players that, as the extra point is good, Quebec extends their lead to 17. The defensive coordinators have nightmares about because you come up with a game plan, and you know guys are listed at 6'8" sometimes, but I would imagine as a coordinator or a coach, you can't take that too much into factor because a lot of the times the guy's 6'8" and then can't do much else.
Yeah, he's awkward.
Right?
A lot of times guys at that height, especially at this young age, they're a little bit awkward. You know, they're not good route runners. They're maybe not necessarily straight line fast, and they sure as heck usually aren't quick. But it looks like this Goupil has really good body control. He's very coordinated, and that's why I say if you're Manitoba, you know what, maybe you've got to rethink a little bit because we'll see if Quebec is disciplined enough to stay with a run game, hammering it up the middle. But you've got to take away something. Right now, Quebec's just able to do whatever it is they want to do. So if you're Manitoba, you've got to say, hey, we're going to do our best to adjust and take this away. If they're going to march on us, that's fine, but we're not going to let number 2 beat us deep anymore.
You can see the energy on the sidelines here. That Manitoba defense has been out there for a while, and it's even tougher to get stops when you're out there a while, especially on a plus 30 day. And a good kickoff here into the end zone, off the hands of the returner. And they're going to bring it out, but they're going to get taken down inside their own 10. And there's been a lot of conversation over the past week about rouges on kickoffs, and I don't think that would have been a bad time to take one there.
Yeah, but with the high school rules, if you bring it out, I believe it comes out to the 20 if they're going by high school rules. Although, no, they're marking it. They're marking it back at the 5. So, yeah, at this stage in the game, down 17-0 with a lot of time, with over 9 minutes left in the half, you're right. Just take the knee there. Take the knee, get the ball out at your 35-yard line.
That's going to come with experience, obviously, for these guys. Right here, they're really just looking to make a play, right?
Oh, definitely.
And now you don't see kickoffs that deep at the high school level very often.
No.
I haven't seen one into the end zone through the air, personally.
Yeah, no, it's a great kick.
Here's Ansiu, backed up into his own end zone. Going to boot left, has a receiver open along the sidelines. Did he get a foot down?
He got it.
No.
Oh, I thought he got it.
They mark him out of bounds, and they'll say that Bonamon couldn't quite get those feet down. It was a close one.
You only need 1 foot in the Canadian game. I thought Bonamon might have had that, but obviously the official's in a better position than we are, so they could have been out of bounds before he secured the football. But that was close, and I like the patience there by the Manitoba quarterback. Got his hips around, put a lot of velocity on that ball, and we're seeing some nice things out of him.
Hasn't really been that anyone from Manitoba has looked bad so far. Quebec has just
looked that good.
Looked dominant.
Yeah.
Another throw here for Team Manitoba. They're going to need to shed a couple of tackles. Almost got through one, but not quite able to do it. And that's probably going to bring the punting unit back out onto the field here for Manitoba.
He gets the ball
in their own territory.
That was fair with the catch, but even better play by the Manitoba DB, yet holding on for dear life. And now you're at that situation on the field. You contemplate giving up 2 points in the safety.
So tough to do here, but especially with the kicks we've seen from Hayden Craig, you're thinking that even with a only okay return, they're getting this ball back in almost field goal range. They did get enough yardage to back themselves up off the goal line.
Yeah, punter should be getting this long snap, but we've seen one snap fall a little short, one go a little high. So now the pressure's on the long snapper and the protection team. If I'm Quebec, I'm looking at sending it. Go for the block here.
Be a free touchdown if you do.
That's right.
And Manitoba is going to take the safety. What do you think about that call there, Chad? It's early in the game. You're already down by 17, so it's tough to lose another 2 points. But
yeah, it's tough. And you know what? Earlier on, when I was coaching high school ball, I was adamantly opposed to taking those safeties. But as I've gotten a little bit more experience now, we'll find ourselves in that situation from time to time, and there's definitely merits to doing that, because now Quebec is going to be backed up at their own 35-yard line to start. They would have been in field goal range essentially. So smart play by Manitoba, but now the pressure's on the defense yet again to come up with a stop.
Looks like LaRue's going to stay in at quarterback for another drive. Halfway through the second quarter here, up by 19. LaRue has had this offense going so far.
Yeah, I'd imagine we'll see another quarterback in the second half, but we'll see if LaRue finishes off the half.
Handoff up the middle, and another good first down gain here as LeMay falls forward near the marker.
Yeah, it looked like the left side of that line was pulling around. Might be a bit of a GT counter tray there, so we got two pullers, it looked like. Usually you have a trapping pulling lineman and a wrapping pulling lineman who gets out to the next level, and just another first down play of 9 yards. I mean, that's just domination.
2nd and 1. Short yardage, staying on the sideline. We've seen Manitoba make a passing play from here before. Pressure being brought, and was he down before the ball came out? They're going to call it an incomplete. I thought so too.
I'm pretty sure his knees were down. There was miscommunication on the mesh there between the quarterback and the running back on that play action.
Let's see. Was that knee down? No.
Oh, maybe not.
Good call there, and that's why I always hesitate to call it from the booth. Good pressure there by Team Manitoba, though.
43. Danica came in hot, but 3rd and inches now. So great job by the quarterback to get that away.
So now Tremblay into the game, pushing the pile forward. Last time they got a gain of 10. This time they'll have more than enough for the first.
Yeah, that's going to hurt the average, though. That was only about 4 yards.
Only 4 yards on the sneak.
Yeah.
For the 6'4" quarterback that comes in at 245.
When I look at number 4 there for Quebec, Lamontagne, reminds me of longtime CFLer Nick Lewis in the slot with that physique. He's listed at 6'1", 235, so might be a little bit taller than Nick Lewis was, but just that body type. He looks like a fullback, but looks like a good route runner as well, though.
So Quebec able to reset the chains on first down. LaRue evading pressure. Still getting pressure. Goes to the sideline, and it's caught. What a play from LaRue. Able to find Clement Boulanger. And a gain of 8 on what could have been a loss of a lot more.
Have these guys been practicing together for a year? Because that's the way it looks. I mean, you see some really good provincial level high school teams that don't look this polished going into provincials. Okay, so great athleticism there by the quarterback to escape, evade a sack, and then he's just kind of given direction, but his receiver is savvy enough to understand, hey, he's coming to me. I was going to run deep, but now I'm coming back towards him. So really, really impressed here. And that 43 down there for Manitoba.
Jesse Danica able to walk off under his own power. It was interesting you name-dropped Lewis, though. You know, a lot of guys in this tournament do go on to play, whether it be just U Sport. I don't want to not just U Sport, U Sports, NCAA, PFC, or any of the junior football conferences across, and many of them go to the CFL as well. Justin Lawrence, Mark Corte, Matthew Betts. Right now, the Philpott twins, Jalen and Tyson. Their dad was coaching the last game for Team BC. So, and you see a run like this from LeMay, and you see LaRue execute, and it wouldn't be surprising if in 10 years we're looking back and there's a couple of these guys
I
pitching
wish,
into professional
right?
football in some capacity.
I wished I would have kept the rosters over the years that I've watched this tournament, right? Because every year there's guys, right? And there's going to be a lot of guys that play U Sport, a lot of guys that play junior football. But you're right, there's going to be some guys that end up getting paid to play professional football that are in this tournament this week.
Team Quebec driving the ball once again. Leroux pulls the handoff, and he's going deep over the middle and just out of the reach of Luciewa.
Yeah, he took his shot, but Enrique Guzman was wide open in the flats. So you got a little play action, and the big slot then is running that slice motion, pushing the defense horizontally, and the defense did not react well to that. He was wide open. If the quarterback would have checked it down to the flats, he probably would have had a 20 to 30-yard gain.
So second and long here for Quebec. Manitoba needs a stop. They're going to get some pressure. Man. Leroux runs out of time, and he's going to have to throw it away. Man, I don't know if you've seen it, Chad, there was a big missed hold on that one.
Yeah.
Quebec got away with one there through the middle of the line.
They definitely did. And again, and I'm going to say, hey, if you're on the pass rush for Manitoba, contain him. They're getting a nice push, but they're not setting the edge there, and they are letting the Quebec quarterback roll out and scramble to the outside. And again, it's easy for me up here to say, hey, maybe they could try this, they could do this. It's a lot different when you're down there and the live bullets are flying. It's happening in real time, but I'm interested to see how Manitoba will come out in the second half and adjust defensively to try to slow down this offense that looks like a juggernaut early on.
Desrousseau was shaken up on the play for Team Quebec, and they're going to bring their punting unit onto the field. They've had some good ones already today. We are in Rouge territory, obviously, with the ball in plus territory, but they're going to try to angle this one out.
And that's Tremblay back there punting. There's 245 pounds into this one. You get it back there near the goal line.
Haven't seen much punting so far for Team Quebec. One of our first looks at Tremblay. Good distance on it. Going to be fielded inside the 5. And Manitoba is going to take it out around the 10. And their offense is going to be backed up once again to start.
Good coverage there. DiCaprio finishing off the ball carrier, number 27, Rahama. But a good punt, good coverage. It's just a solid team in Quebec here. And we'll obviously see. They've finished third place the last couple of years at this tournament. But I'd say the way they're primed, this could be a team that has a really good shot of making the finals this year.
We'll see Saskatchewan, the defending champs, in the next game at 4 o'clock, and then Team Alberta, the second-seeded team, having lost to Saskatchewan last year in the nightcap at 7 o'clock. Run to the right side for Manitoba, and going absolutely nowhere. Multiple Team Quebec defenders in on the tackle.
Yeah, and I thought Babbage turned his body hockey style. Maybe he was trying to spin, but running backs have got to be careful about spinning before contact. You can take some hellacious hits. You can get helmets, elbows, shoulders down in that lower back area, which is incredibly painful and can lead to injuries.
Gain of 2. It'll be a 2nd and 8. And Manitoba a little bit behind the chains again. Need a spark. Antiu looking left, feeling the pressure, and looked like there might have been contact on his arm there as he was throwing. And that ball's gonna fall short.
Yeah, too much pressure. It was an obvious passing situation on second and long, and Quebec can get after it. They can get after it up front, and of course, Manitoba is setting up that running back early. He's motioning up early to try to set that edge, but honestly, I think Quebec is just too dominant up front. You're not going to have much success when you're at 2nd and 8 in an obvious passing situation.
So last time Manitoba was forced to take a safety from about this same range. We'll see if they make the same decision here. Defense for Quebec without getting interceptions or fumble recoveries. They're scoring some points right now. We'll see if they can put up another 2. And this time Manitoba's going to boot it away. It's a short one. Bounces inside the 40 and back towards Team Manitoba.
Punter's going to get it.
And yeah, punter almost got it. Remember, if the punter would have got it, Gabriel was right there. He actually made the tackle. The reason there's no flag there is because the punter doesn't have to stay on side. He doesn't have to stay those 5 yards. He is on side.
He's on side. Gabriel Yape, and he sort of slowed down, though. I thought if he just would have ran as hard and as fast as he could, he saw that he shanked that punt. It got a bad bounce on him. Just run after the ball. Just go get it. But he had that slight hesitation there, and that's all the difference in the world.
So Quebec's going to get great field position here at the 27-yard line. The punt was decent, but had a lot of backspin and ended up bouncing back about 15, 20 yards. Hand off. Another run up the middle here for LeMay. Trying to turn the corner. Met by a few players wearing gold. And a gain of a few as we hit the 3-minute warning.
But they're going to take now what the defense gives them. So 32, we'll give 32 credit there. Gillespie in on a nice tackle there out of Oak Park in Winnipeg, big-time high school. But now you see Manitoba, they bring the corner down. He's an undersized corner. Well, I shouldn't say he's undersized. Everybody looks short next to number 2 there. But they have a corner playing down low and another safety rolled up high. So if you're going to play bracket coverage like that, which you kind of have to when you're trying to defend this 6'8" monster out here, but now you're leaving yourself susceptible to the run game.
Kupel at the top of your screen, kind of top left corner. See if they go to him once again. They're going to look the other way over the middle! And I wasn't sure if that was intercepted or caught. In the end, it falls incomplete.
It's good effort there, pretty good coverage, and the ball ends up on the ground. I thought he was going to take a shot deep, but he checks it down to that crossing route.
Looked like Manitoba might have had it in their fingertips for a second. It's going to be a field goal attempt here once again for Hayden Craig.
Manitoba's got some substitution issues here. They might look at calling a timeout. They got too many men on the field.
Now they're sending a returner back. Some confusion here on the Manitoba sideline. I think they're down to 12 now.
Yeah.
Be a 31-yard field goal attempt, and it's pushed wide. And through the back of the end zone. So a missed field goal. A single point, though.
The almighty Canadian single.
You know, we've seen a lot about it last week.
Yeah, we have.
Enough, and I've never seen. Listen, I'm gonna show my cards. I think you know, Chad. I'm from Saskatchewan originally. I grew up a Rider fan, and I've never seen more conversation about the Rouge than I seen last week, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Heat's off for a while, man. Right.
Yeah, I do love it, though. I think it's those quirks that just make
uniquely
the Canadian game the
It's
Canadian game, right? And we've seen a few moves recently in professional football, tightening the hash marks a little bit, and just some various rule changes to make it a little more American. Deep pass here. Oh, nearly reeling it in was Aiden Bonamon. He's been close to breaking a couple big plays today, but it's ended up falling just short.
Yeah, and he's open on that corner route. I thought it was a pretty well-placed ball. I wish Bonamon would have gone up with 2 hands, though. He reached to stab it with the 1 hand. I wish he would have gone up with 2 to secure that ball, because you're not going to get opportunities like this often against this Quebec defense. You got to capitalize on those plays when they're there to be had.
2nd and 10 for Manitoba. Boy, don't get this, and you're punting it back to Quebec. Screen plate, and that one's going nowhere.
Yeah, and I'm glad to finally see a screen pass here. In the first game today, we didn't see any running back screens. I'm a fan of every time you have all-star competition like this where guys are hyped up to represent their province, their schools, and they're also, they're playing also for themselves individually to get opportunities. And on 2nd and long, a defense is going to come hot. They're going to pin their ears back. They're going to come. I like having a couple of different screens in for an offense, but that just was poorly executed. It looks like they need more time in practice to work on that. And screens do take a lot of time. They're very time-consuming to install, but I think they're important to have.
Quebec loading up the front here, coming after it, and that one might have been tipped. fielded it about the 45 and pushed out of bounds. Ooh, big contact on the sidelines there. Incidental, and good to see everyone up and okay as Quebec's going to take the ball at the 52.
Yeah, Rohama got a piece there of Lucier Waugh right at the midfield stripe, but Manitoba seems to have a little bit of issues though with the punt team there. The snaps aren't coming in real clean. I thought the punter maybe fielded that ball with his knee on the ground. I think the refs are being merciful there to not call him down. We've seen that in some high school games where, you know, the punter just sort of puts that knee down to scoop the ball up and they whistle him down by knee on the ground.
So just under 2.5 minutes here. Lots of time for Quebec. And LeMay to get some points here still. And LeMay with a good first down run will pick up 7.5 or so.
Yeah, Gillespie. We've called his name a lot for Manitoba. And I mean, you know, linebackers love getting involved in these tackles, but that's going to wear out that young man Gillespie. He's really active there. He's a 6 foot, 195 pounds listed, so he's a decent-sized high school linebacker, but he's trying to fend off those big old linemen in blue and hit a pretty big, fast running back.
See if Quebec wants to stick with the ground game. And they will. Another handoff to LeMay. Has some room over the middle, able to get some first down yardage, and a couple more, take it down to the 46.
Yeah, and I like the way Quebec motions in Lamontagne there to block the backside end so he can't chase it down. And again, that's going to set up some nice play action off that as well, where he'll be wide open out in the flats.
Half minute gone so far on this drive for Quebec. Couple late subs here now. Clock starting to run out a little more. They've spent over 10 seconds getting this next snap off. Still a lot of time though. Ball at the 46. They're going to pull the ball this time. Deep shot downfield. It was in the direction of Gubel. Looked like there was a lot of contact both ways. There was a flag back on the line of scrimmage anyways.
Yeah, there was definitely contact. And I wish, and so basically a free play there, so we took a shot offside on Manitoba, but I wish that the quarterback there would have actually put a little bit more arc on that ball, let his big receiver Goupil go up and get it, because, you know, number 30 there, he's hanging in there for Manitoba, but he is not a big guy, not in the least, so he's given up so much height that if you throw that ball up, good things are going to happen for Quebec.
Garrett Toporowski is a full foot and an inch shorter at the listed heights than Goupil.
Yeah, 5'7".
So
yeah,
that's a tough matchup for Toporowski.
Right?
By the way, and I thought this was the indication at first, that penalty was actually against Quebec. They're going to back the ball up to a 1st and 15 now with 1.5 minutes left to play here in the first half. Pass over the middle to Goupil, and he's taken down at the 35, just enough for another first down for Team Quebec.
Yeah, pitch and catch to make it look easy. Well, that 1st and 15, and you pick up 16, 17 yards on first down.
Without issue.
Right? But it's that play action, right? Being able to run the ball effectively on first down between the tackles is so important because it sets up so much for your offense. And now you got the defense just guessing, right? First down, even though it's 1st and 15, they're averaging, about 8-9 yards a carry, so that those linebackers are going to creep up. You gotta respect the run game.
Quick look left. It's a quarterback draw, though, for Leroux. Has room over the middle, and a great tackle there for Team Manitoba. That was Jesse Deneka. Regardless, another first down gain for Team Quebec that goes for 8.
Yeah,
maybe 9.
Nice form tackle by Deneka, but the damage is done with a big gain on the QB draw. But look at this Quebec O-line, right? Led by the center there, Benjamin Rinfret-Rassat. They are just asserting their dominance here.
Short yardage in, Jan Tremblay in at quarterback. He'll sneak it to the right. There could be a big gain here for Tremblay. Pulls it down again, and he's going to be hit just by the 15. So it brings that average on the short yardage up again. First one went for like 9. Second one goes for 5. That's down a little bit. Now a gain of 11 on the short yardage for Tremblay.
Most teams would love to have their running back average this, and their short yardage quarterback is. And he got a great block on the edge by LeMay by his running back there. He just moving bodies.
First down, Quebec on the 15-yard
Well, there's lots of time. Clock is still something to look at here as it ticks down to 40 seconds. Time for at least a few more plays here, though, for Team Quebec with the ball at the 15. Another run here. LeMay bounces off of a tackle, cuts right. LeMay makes another man miss, still spinning, still up, and finally goes down as he gets towards the 5.
And this is a defense getting tired. They're getting gassed. We're seeing missed tackles now. And again, this is part of the beauty of an effective inside run game. It wears down a defense.
And isn't LeMay going to get tired at some point, though, Chad?
Well, it's a little bit different when you're carrying the ball and you're getting all those yards. You know, you got the adrenaline, the hype. It's fun, it's exciting, and he's following his big boys to space, right? And then he's making some jukes and some moves. So yeah, don't get me, you or I would get tired in this. But this is a young athlete.
I'm tired in the booth right now.
Right? Yeah, I'm gonna need a nap between games here. But you know, this honestly, when you see linebackers whiff on tackles, when their heads go down and their butts stick out and their arms sort of go wide, they're getting outside their cylinder. That's usually one of two things. One, they're exhausted, or two, they've given up and don't care. And these guys are too proud. It's not the second one. It's the first one. They're tired.
It is plus 30 at field level today.
It's hot. That defense has been on the field a lot. And not only is LeMay obviously a tough, elusive, big, fast back, hard to tackle, but you've got these monsters on the offensive line. You know, and linebackers, it's one thing if you don't have a lineman in your face, if you could just scrape to the play, make tackles. But when you've got to get off these big old guards and centers on you, that's a whole different ball game. And that's what wears down the linebackers.
So I believe it was Team Quebec there that stopped the clock with a timeout at 24 seconds. Looking to go up 4 scores. Up 20-0 already. Looking to make it 26.
Okay, a little bit of confusion there.
Yeah, different running back in as well here for Quebec. Des Rousseau comes into the game. He's going to get the handoff and be met behind the line of scrimmage. Boy, didn't have much of a chance there for Des Rousseau.
Yeah, that's Maxwell Greenman in there, number 31, and 32 I think was in there. Again, Gillespie. And maybe Manitoba sensed, hey, they got a new running back, and they probably want to get him a touchdown. And maybe that answers your question. Does LeMay get tired? Maybe he did.
So they might be able to kick this with zeros on the clock here. There's
it's
a bit of confusion on the field. I'm not sure if Quebec might just have a timeout in their pocket, so they're just letting that clock run down as much as they can. Yeah, they could be taking the penalty here as well. Back up the kicker. You're on the 15, 10-yard line, and they will just call the timeout. Quebec will.
Yeah, smart clock management. And although I didn't, maybe I should have, I didn't read the official rules for this tournament. I'm assuming it's mostly the high school rules. So 2 timeouts per half per team. So
that would be the second for Quebec.
Yeah. Not like, a lot of people who watch the university, college, pros, there's 3 timeouts. There's only 2 in high school ball. And now the left-footed kicker comes back on. And I don't know if I'm just being, notice these. We don't see a lot of left-footed kickers. And
it looks a little weird,
it does.
doesn't it?
The trajectory of the ball, the spin, and maybe that's why the Manitoba returners are having a little bit of difficulty fielding it, because they've dropped 2 or 3.
It does look weird in the air. It's spinning just a different way that you would never catch it.
That's right.
Anyways, Craig Hayden has looked good so far today. This one from 17. Snap is off. Hold is down. Kick is up and right through.
That looked like a spiral. It looked like he threw that ball. That's an odd.
That was a good throw to Goupil at the back of the end zone. Right? Is what that was. But a good first half for Team Quebec. Up by 23. Chad, I didn't expect to see an offense today run so well in their first game of this tournament.
No, I didn't either. And I know Saskatchewan has to play New Brunswick next in the quarterfinal, and they can't be looking ahead, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of those coaches are taking note about what they're seeing here, because that could be a epic semifinal showdown.
Want to send out a quick thank you to Volt Athletics, the official supplier of online strength and conditioning services for Football Canada. To find out how your team can be in top competitive shape with sport-specific workouts, visit www.voltathletics.com. That's VOLT athletics.com. I think Quebec might be using them. They are dominating right now, up 23-0 at the half. We'll be back in about 9 minutes for the second half of action.
Living the life.
Only my water wasn't hot.
Oh, I took a drink and I couldn't feel the difference in the temperature, and it literally poured down my shirt. Like out the sides, and like, what's what? Oh no! It's like it felt heavy enough. I should be feeling that water. And I'm gonna see if I can refill this thing with cold water.
Buddy, it ain't nap time.
Fair enough. On handheld for the Stingers yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
So I was already a little sore.
Great.
Early start today and everything.
Halfway through my day. You're not even there. You got all four, right? Next game,
What's that?
based on all the talk I heard, next game's going to go run time for the whole second half. Because apparently this is really good, but apparently next game is pretty good.
I don't know what's worse, you know, like, it's like, you could have a boring game that ends early, or you could have one go way long.
I would just love a close contested
Yeah, like at this point, I'm
22
like,
to 25 games.
yeah, like I don't even care. I just want like a good game. I don't care if it makes the game take longer.
Yeah.
I just want to see some good football.
So how was your run? You guys went to Calgary.
Quebec's good though.
Oh yeah,
They got a couple guys out there that's
last year. Yeah, they're crazy.
I'm like, it's different.
Yeah, you'd never expect that.
I kind of will. They got a lot of good football players in Quebec, man. But I didn't expect like night and day
Yeah, like
compared to what I thought. They don't look like a new offense.
yeah.
They look like they're yeah. Manitoba doesn't even look
Like, if I didn't know, if I'd never seen this, you're like, oh, what province do you think produces the best high school football players? I would think that's all.
I'm not gonna lie.
I would assume Alberta, to be honest. That's why I'm biased.
Alberta
because we're
sounds
kicks out here, you know?
Yeah.
We're the Texas of Canada. You'd expect us to have the best football. But Alberta is good. I think they have second. No, third. They were in the bottom.
Why are they keeping second? Oh, I got that wrong.
Because I remember, because they won their last game. Because I remember specifically, I was on the hill for that, so I remember like they were getting rowdy, right? They did like a whole ass like dance in front of my camera, but they would have lost their last game. If they got
Great. I'm using a microfiber cloth.
right into my wall.
It's better this game in there.
Is it? It's a little better out here too. We got a bit of shade and sun now, but it's still fine. I've got like some work I should do when I get home. If there's no one in, it's not.
Falling on my bed. I'm not even laying down, just falling.
That's very good.
Okay,
It's like I've got too much of the board and stuff, so like I'm gonna pour it on my shirt because then it's wet and the wind will pull it down.
Okay,
And that makes room for
instead of being scared of saying this me. No, me too. Yeah. Yeah, the scene control's got a dead spot. Full throttle and
Oh,
I'm never there.
if you are, it's not on air. It's you're just trying to get back.
Just a minute. First down, Jared Gresham. 7 to 137.
So I'm not a teenager anymore because my body is feeling similarly to how it felt after playing a football game.
Heads up! Let's go! Love you, Lara. Love you, Nessa.
Les statistiques pour le premier demi. Here are your first half statistics. Premier jeu, first downs pour le Québec, 14 pour le Manitoba, aucune. Rushing yards, verges au sol, le Québec, 137. Manitoba, 7. Les passes, 156 verges pour le Québec.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back for the second half of the second game of the day in the 2023 Football Canada Cup. Connor Toffin joined by Chad Hill. Team Quebec and Team Manitoba, with Quebec dominating up by 23. Chad, you got the stats in front of you, and it's a pretty big difference in the first half there.
Yeah, I don't know how to sugarcoat this. This is awfully one-sided. 14 first downs for Quebec and 0 for Manitoba. A couple of the standouts on Quebec in the rushing game. Their leading rusher, LeMay, 14 carries for 88 yards.
And that's in one half.
One half, and 16 is his longest, so it's not like he ripped off. You see some big-time stats sometimes where a guy ripped off a 60, 70-yard run. No, it's not that. He's getting 7, 10, 12. He's getting those yards. So, again, I'm not necessarily a mathematician, but his yards per carry, 14 for 88. That's impressive. What's that, around 7 something?
Well, and if anyone has flashed this game, as good as LeMay has been, Goupil looks special on that Manitoba offense.
Yeah, special is right. 5 receptions, 113 yards. He's caught 5 out of 6 targets. And I think that's what's most impressive. It's not like they've gone to him 9 or 10 times. They've thrown to him 6 times. He's caught 5 for 113 yards.
And I think two touchdowns as well for him,
That's
right?
true. Yeah, that is true. Big-time player. So I know there's a lot of U-Sport coaches here in attendance. I'm sure they'll be lined up wanting to speak to this young man.
So in a game like this, 23-0 already. Runtime would be 35. And it'll be interesting to see what Quebec does with their quarterbacks here. Leroux has been the quarterback through the first half. See if they put in... Oh, that punt sails over the head of the returner. And they're going to take a knee in the end zone and take the Rouge. Now, I know in the CFL, I don't know the rule here. In the CFL now, if it goes out of the back of the end zone, it's no points.
Right.
But I don't think that's the same in high school. I think even if you would have let it go, I think it's still a Rouge.
I believe it is, and I say that because I'm currently coaching the best kicker I've ever coached in like almost 20 years, right? I've had some decent kickers, but nobody that puts it into the end zone off kickoffs like that, and we got a guy who does that. Austin Penshision, if he's watching, okay, yeah. but and I believe at least in midget in the spring we got a point for that.
Okay. And Craig Hayden is the kicker for Quebec. Has an impressive leg. Ansiu stays in the game at quarterback for Manitoba. Flips it out wide and maybe a loss of 1 there.
Yeah, strung out by the Quebec defense. Just that wall of blue moving laterally. The 19, was that Brady Fay on the carry there? First time we've said his name. Little bunch formation here by Manitoba. Flank out the running back. Interesting formation.
A bit of a different look than we've seen. Quarterback looking to that left side, throws it over the middle, and taken down around the 40. Picks up just over half the first down yardage, but won't be enough to get the first down.
Yeah, good tackle there by number 21, I believe it is there, Benjamin Carlisle.
For Quebec.
And that would have been a play on first down. I would say, hey, really successful play. Pick up 6 yards, but on second and 10, I think Manitoba's at that point in the game where you gotta start forcing the issue a little bit.
A nice little pitch and catch there between Ansiu and looked like Zaluxky. There we go, first time calling his name. They're going to go for it on third here, and about 5. Ansiu looking downfield, taking a shot! Intercepted by Quebec. That's Cedric Mambuko.
Hey, good for Mambuko. And he got the ball back almost to where they would have got the ball if he just would have knocked it down.
Normally on third down, you just want to knock it down, but with the return, he's able to get it back around close to the line of scrimmage, about 5 yards behind.
So we'll give him credit for that. And you know, I always say it's hard faulting DBs because that was a contested ball. Number 80, the wide receiver's right there. So, hey, he's got the skills. He's a ball hawk. He went and got it, and good for him to get a big return of about darn near 30 yards there on that return to get the ball back up to where that line of scrimmage would have been.
Looked like Ansiu just couldn't find anything, so elected to go with the arm punt there, or a 50-50 ball. Same quarterback into the game as LaRue stays in. Quarterback keeper here, looked like an option play, and some more good first down yardage here for LaRue.
Yeah, and Jesse Danica with a shoestring tackle on the QB to limit that gain to about 4.5 yards. But again, first down, take positive gain. Second and moderate, playbook's wide open. You could look for play action, and they're in 3-down territory right here, I would say.
Des Rousseau into the game as the running back. They'll fake it to him, goes out wide to Goupel, and that one a little bit long, even for the 6'8" wide receiver.
Yeah, the QB just let that one sail on him, unfortunately. LaRue's got to get that one down, make that a more catchable ball. If you're overthrowing a 6'8" receiver in the flats, you've thrown that ball too high. But give your receiver a chance to get that because he had quite a bit of space there. That was definitely going to be a first down if that ball did not sail on LaRue.
So it would be a 42-yard field goal attempt here, but Quebec going to bring out their punting unit here instead.
And I'm a little surprised they're not going for it at this point on the field, but I guess with a 20-point lead, they feel safe punting it away.
Punt angle towards the sideline, bounces at the 11 and straight out of bounds.
Hey, I like that angled punt. A lot of times in high school you try that, and it doesn't end well as the ball will go straight out of bounds. But down around the 11-yard line, he lands that inbounds and it rolls out. I learned my lesson years ago. Most times in high school, your punter's not just, a special teams player. He's a quarterback, he's a receiver, or whatever. I had a quarterback. He's a good quarterback, was not a good punter. And we're trying to ice clock with some field time. I said, just punt it out of bounds. Well, we netted about 2 yards.
If you've ever tried punting, which I have, or field goal kicking, which I have, I can tell you it's not as easy as it looks.
No, it looks awfully easy.
I think it's like golf, right, where it's kind of the rhythm of that leg swing, and the pros make it look easy, and then you go to the driving range and you don't even hit the ball, or you do and it goes backwards a yard.
It's true.
Kind of the same thing with punting.
Yep, true.
It looks easy, but to angle a punt out like that is pretty special at this age group.
I only punt with the wind at my age, okay?
I don't punt at all. Here's Ansiu. Booted out right, feels the pressure, throws it into traffic, and it falls incomplete. That'll bring up another third down here for Manitoba, and they'll have to punt it away.
So I'm not quite certain if they were supposed to call that play into the boundary like that with a overload of receivers, a quads look there for receivers, and having the quarterback roll. And maybe it is designed that way because the quarterback's more comfortable rolling to his right. But he ran out of field, and because he's running out of field, he's trying to throw back across his body, which is really, really dangerous. So I would have preferred if they would have run that play to the left, going to the field side. That being said, the level of difficulty for most right-handed quarterbacks going left is a lot greater, but they just ran out of real estate there.
So first time Manitoba punted from here, they took the safety. Second time they punted it away. We'll see what the decision is here. Snap is a bit low, and that one was tipped. But didn't get a ton of finger on it, so still able to angle it out of the 35, and a bit of a lucky bounce there for Team Manitoba.
But Boivin came in untouched, it looked like, number 30 in blue. And again, that snap was a little bit low. The snaps are dropping about a yard or two short. And, maybe it's time Manitoba looks at just bringing that punter up 2 yards, right? You're not necessarily going to fix the long snap right now mid-game, but you can just move that punter up a couple of yards.
So Quebec getting the ball in plus territory, up by 24. Leroux, flag on the plate. Deep pass into the end zone. He has a receiver open and a touchdown for now.
And the pass
Beautiful play action.
made for the touchdown.
Adam Bateman reels it in. A 35-yard gain for a touchdown as it stands, but it will be coming back.
Yeah, it looks like the receiver got the early jump there. Offside on the offense. But I love the design of that, right? You get a little play action moving horizontally, try to bring that defense down, and then you have your vertical concepts over top. And I thought he had a couple of open receivers again. He chose the easier throw down the hash and laid it right on the money.
Looks like we're starting to see more of the rotation coming in for Quebec here, too, as I see Goupil isn't on the field. Obviously, LeMay got those 88 yards, I believe, in the first half, and now we're seeing more of Des Rousseau.
And it's short turnaround, right? Play again midweek. So it's not like they get a week off to recover.
Hand off to Des Rousseau. Slowed down behind the line of scrimmage, but a patient run will get him back to the original line of scrimmage at the 35.
Yeah, and I like the way the running back lowered the shoulders there on contact to fall forward. Gets that pad level low. But now would be the time if you're, well, both teams really, rotate those depth players in the game. Keep the guys healthy you need for midweek.
Leroux feeling the pressure. Gets out of it and, gets popped. He took a huge hit. Felt the pressure early, and then it was Matthew Gillespie. Huge hit on Thomas Leroux.
Big hit there, and that's what you don't want your starting quarterback taking those hits when you have a 20-point lead like this. So yeah, I would look for Quebec to start rotating in those other quarterbacks because man, they need Leroux if they're gonna play in a medal game.
Yeah,
they need Leroux. So I'd look at getting the other quarterback some playing time because he's not gonna last taking hits like that.
Well, I do wonder, about what the game plans for different coaches might be, and if Leroux is slated to play the whole game today, and then either Tremblay or Drapeau is due to play the full game on Wednesday. High punt, and that was going to take a bad bounce for Quebec into the end zone. And Manitoba, they're going to try to return it, but it's going to end up being a rouge.
Yeah, it's that spin, that left-footed spin. It came back in play. I thought that one was going out of bounds.
Footballs can take all sorts of bounces. Yeah. That's still a weird one.
Yeah, it looked like a beautiful punt. Came off his foot. Beautiful punt. I thought he was landing that perfectly to go out of bounds there inside the 10 around the 5, but it just hopped back into the end zone. So they will take that single point.
So that will extend the lead to Quebec for 25. I will say, Manitoba, their defense, Quebec had the ball almost in field goal range twice, and they just give up 1 point.
Well, that Josh Lahier with the big hit on the quarterback, man. That Manitoba, they're tired.
Ooh, lots of jumps there.
Looks like procedure there against Manitoba. And again, that defense, we saw they were tired to end the half. We saw some missed tackles, but they went in at halftime, a little rest and recovery. And again, these guys are too good of football players. They got too much pride. They're not going to lay down. So I like the fight I'm seeing out of the defense here to start the second half. But now they need their offense to sustain some drives.
Yeah, they haven't gotten a drive going yet. They are yet to pick up a first down, if memory serves me correctly, Chad. And
that's what the stats say. So
it's been rough. They did score a touchdown that got called back. And now on a 2nd and 15, that run looked like it was going nowhere, and it's going to end up going for no gain. But could have been a loss of a bit more there for Jack Babbage.
Yeah, that's a heck of an effort for no yards. I mean, Babbage is breaking 2, 3, 4 tackles, fighting hard, keeping his legs churning.
We're actually spotting the ball way back here at the 24, so it goes for a loss of 5.
That might be the hardest fought loss of 5 yards I've seen in quite some
Maybe
time.
the most impressive loss of 5 yards ever.
Ball is now on the 24. It is
so it's backed up to the Manitoba 24. 2nd and 21. They'll look out left into the flats and across the 30-yard line and taken down is Bonamon. And that should bring the punting unit back onto the field here for Manitoba in the 3rd and long.
Arenas, Michel, and DiCaprio in on there. Diet, just a plethora, and that's when you know a defense is playing well, when you see 2, 3, 4 guys in on all these tackles, right? They're rallying up to the ball. They're keeping their leverage and their angle. They just, they look like they're disciplined. We haven't seen a bunch of flags for careless play by the defense. So I'm impressed with this Quebec team as a whole.
Good snap on the punt here for Manitoba, and it's a big boot. Going to be caught at around the 45-yard line by Ducier Waugh, and he'll get taken down just before midfield. Maybe the best punt of the day for Manitoba.
Yeah, and good field position for Quebec to start. We'll see. It looks like number 16 is coming in as the quarterback now.
So that's Elliot Drapeau. I believe he came in for one play in the first half, but really his first real snaps of the game here in the second half with 3:53 left to go in the 3rd quarter. And an injured player from Team Manitoba on the far side of the field here.
Yeah, hard to see the number there who's down for Manitoba.
We do want to thank OPRO mouth guards as we have a bit of a break here. They're the official mouth guard of Football Canada, and they provide the world's most technically advanced range of mouth guards, ensuring every athlete has the best protection for their teeth. You can stay protected by buying your Football Canada mouth guard today at www.opromouthguards.com. That's OPRO mouthguards.com.
Got to protect those teeth.
Well, especially when you're taking hits like we've seen in today's game. I mean, in 2023, even compared to, when I was in high school, and that wasn't that long ago, athletes are already bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah, I'm looking at the size of some of these guys, and it's impressive. And I know this is an all-star team, but just seeing the size of these receivers, and then the O-line, it's one thing to be that big, but being that big and that mobile, right? So, I look at number 61 there from Quebec, right? Belgiornio, 6'3", 299 pounds. So, 300-pounder. He's a 300-pounder. And look at the way he can move.
See if the offensive line can get some more pushes here. Leonard LeMay back into the game at running back. I think he's just under 100 yards right now, so he'll have a chance to go over soon. They're not going to give it to him, though. Drapeau booting out left, and multiple defenders from Manitoba are right there, and a huge tackle there by Connor Brindley.
Yeah, Brindley throws the QB down with some authority. He says, welcome to the tournament, man. Right? They're still playing hard on D, so... And right now, if you're the Quebec coaching staff, I mean, you don't want to run scores up, but you want to make sure you're not taking your foot off the gas. You want to make sure your offense is staying engaged, staying intense, and they gotta move the ball again because they've been a little bit stagnant this half. They've had good field position, but you can just tell that level of focusing and intensity does not seem there for the Quebec offense.
Dropping Basta Pax on 2nd and long, and it is caught down inside the Manitoba 40, and a big gain for Adam Bateman as Elliot Drapeau, the lefty quarterback, finds the connection.
Yeah, wow, left-footed kicker. Well, the quarterback is a lefty. And he delivered that one on time. That's if you're the Quebec coaching staff, that's what you want to see. Great pitch and catch there with Bateman moving the sticks.
Quebec 1st and 10 at the 37.
I think that was 32 again, right? Gillespie in there for Manitoba out of Oak Park.
Called his name a few times today.
Yeah, he's been active. Okay, we got big number 2 back in the game here.
Hand off to LeMay. Cuts it right and met quickly. And is that him again?
That's him again. Gillespie.
Gillespie once more. Another tackle. He's played a real good game.
Get the ice bath ready for that guy. He's been involved in a lot of contact.
4 yards.
4-yard gain here for Quebec. Manitoba probably happy with that play, but still a gain of 4 on first down for Quebec. They've been able to churn out some huge production on first downs.
Okay, so Goupil's off the line as there's a tight end set here. Might be a little harder to jam him with a 5'7" corner if he's coming off the line.
They're going to look the other way, and nearly picked. It was thrown in front of the receiver, Adam Bateman. Bateman was able to work his way over, but kind of just had to deflect it down.
Yeah, ball's thrown a little bit inside, and I get you want to lead your receiver into space to where you want him to be, but I just think this throw is a little bit off the mark. You know, I got to say, and I'm a bit surprised Manitoba still has number 30 lined up out there against number 2, right? Because we got Toporowski at 5'7", and Goupil at 6'8". And, you know, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe 5'11" is not going to be a difference anyways. But giving up, that's the tallest DB Manitoba has. And I get their bracketing. They have a safety playing off and inside, but that's still a big mismatch in my opinion.
So Quebec has to bring the punting unit onto the field once again. Fielded pretty much on his own goal line, and Manitoba is going to be stuck inside their own 5. What special teams from Quebec?
Got the short yardage quarterback in on the tackle. Tremblay. 6'4", 245, getting down the field on the special teams.
Quarterback, special teamer, short yardage quarterback.
Just a guy you like to have on your team.
Swiss Army knife.
Yeah. And again, he looks like he could play D-end. Or
yeah, I was going to say, and then he's going to go to college and play tight end or something, right?
Exactly. Yeah, he's just a football player. And with that size, right, obviously has a lot of versatility.
Ball deep in Manitoba territory here. Don't want to take a holding. Can't take a sack.
Quebec's bringing it.
Ansiu booting out right. No room in front of him. Has to throw it, and it's just behind the receiver as he can't find the connection with Bonamon.
Yeah, again, he's trying to throw across his body because he gets flushed out of the pocket, and Ansiu breaks contain. I thought he might just, first down, pull that down and run for positive yardage. Give your offense a little bit of breathing room, but he tried a difficult pass thrown across his body and just behind the intended receiver.
Under a minute left to play here in the third quarter. And those guys still focused right now, but pretty happy probably with the results so far. Here's a play! And Manitoba, their first down of the game, and it's going to go for over 50.
I love it. Babbage vacates the backfield just before the snap of the ball to get onto the boundary, so the short side slot back position, and he runs a seam, just a straight vertical route, and he's wide open, uncovered.
Babbage just at the bottom of your screen, and there was a seam right down the middle, wide open. His second big gain of the day. The first one was called back. So Manitoba moving the ball. Ansiu to the right, and that one deflects off the hands of the receiver as Corbin Kinchin has troubles with it, and there's zeros on the clock here in the third quarter. Well, a little bit of movement here from the Manitoba offense, but overall Quebec still pretty dominant there in that third quarter.
Yeah, it's still a very dominant performance by the team in blue. But I will give credit to the Manitoba defense. They're down. It looks like they're almost out, but you wouldn't guess it by the way that defense is playing.
If the scoreboard wasn't there, that third quarter would have looked a lot better.
Yeah, 100%. Really accurate statement. I think the Manitoba defense went in at halftime, and yeah, I get it. Quebec's maybe laid off the gas a little bit on offense, but the way that second half or that second quarter was ending, a lot of teams might have really struggled coming out from the break. But this Manitoba defense, we've seen some big hits, guys rallying to the ball. So if you're the coaching staff on Manitoba, yeah, you're a little bit outmanned, outgunned this game, but you've got to be proud of how your defense is responding to the best of their abilities.
Want to thank Invictus Gloves for helping put a tournament like this on. They're the proud football glove provider for Football Canada and its national teams. If you're in need of quality football gloves with unique and customizable designs, you can visit www.invictusgloves.com. You can stick to your game with Invictus. So 12 minutes back on the clock here in the fourth quarter. 12 minutes left to play and 12 minutes for Manitoba to break this goose egg. Looks like a blitz here from Quebec, and it's batted down right out of the hands of the quarterback. Right there was Payap Temame.
That's the first time we've said pay up Tebeman's name. He gets off that ball in a hurry, gets his hands up, and interesting formation there by Manitoba. They emptied out the backfield, so they actually had 5 receivers to the field with the one ISO'd up wide receiver to the backside, and that's why I thought they'd target. I thought you got that one-on-one, maybe, again, take your 50-50 shot with a tall receiver out there. But, those crossing routes take a little bit of time, okay? And, again, I think the Quebec front is probably a little bit too strong, especially on a 2nd and 10. They're going to pin their ears back.
Onside punt here, maybe, Chad.
Yeah,
there's another player
he needs
just
to back
off
up a little
the screen. And they're going to go for it. Onside punt as they move the punter up. Looks good, and they recover.
He wasn't that's close. I don't think he was actually behind the punter. But they're going to throw the flag regardless for no yards. But now they have to decide.
Now they're going to talk about it.
Yeah, because I think 3 out of the 4 were behind the punter. However, the player who recovered that, to me it looked like he was about a half yard to a yard in front of the punter.
Good idea, though, and good play design there.
Oh, I love it.
For Stephen Ferus and the Manitoba special teams. And this will be an interesting call.
I think they're going to give it. I think they're going to give him the ball. However, I think Manitoba dodged a bullet. Yep, they're going to pick up the flag. But I think when they look at that on film, they're going to say, we got to clean that up if we're going to run it again. Man, make it obvious that you are behind the punter.
So we talked about how good Quebec's offenses looked. How long does it take to install a play like that, and how is Manitoba able to pull that off there?
Well, I kind of wish they would have pulled that off maybe a little bit earlier when the game was a little bit more in question. But if nothing else, now their next opponent has to be ready for that, right? They're gonna spend some time in practice defending that.
So Manitoba's offense gets to stay on the field here, and Foote looking over the middle. And perfectly defended there by Team Quebec. In coverage was Benjamin Carlisle.
Yeah, Carlisle had a good break on that ball. He's pretty much beating the receiver to the spot to get that football. Good defensive play. But if you're Manitoba, I mean, you just had a big special teams play, gets a little bit of momentum going, gets the guys fired up. So take your shot, man. You were in a formation where you had an ISO'd up receiver. Just take your shot.
And Foote alone in the backfield, over the middle, and completes it to Bonamon. They've missed a couple connections down the field. This time they're able to make it, and a first down and plenty more for Team Manitoba.
Yeah, nice to see Bonamon actually come down with one now that he's getting credit for. And that looked really sharp. That was a really nice pitch and catch on that post route, that in-breaking route to the goal post. Number 4 just drops back and delivers a nice ball right on target. And again, if you're Manitoba, you've got to look for some positives. It's a lopsided game, but you've got to take these positives because you're playing midweek. You only got a few days to lick your wounds, recover, and be ready to go for the next game. So getting some positive plays down the stretch here in this fourth quarter is going to pay dividends to have these guys ready, focused, and motivated to play again in a few days from now.
Team Quebec ended up calling a timeout. They're kind of reeling a little bit here. 2 big plays for Manitoba, a big run, now a big pass, and splitting those was the onside kick.
Yeah, and if you're Quebec, you're saying we're getting a shutout. We got to protect that goose egg that's on the board.
It's Canadian football. It's 25-0, and it's a wide margin right now, but you never know. You score a touchdown here, you get a pick 6, something happens, and all of a sudden it's a touchdown and a field goal away.
Momentum shifts can be scary. I remember one year we're playing in Spruce Grove. This is with the Belrose Bulldogs against Spruce Grove High School football. I think we were up 35 points late in the third quarter, and they scored one. And then we went right down to the wire, like a 49-47 game or something crazy, right? And that's a 35-point lead.
Yeah. And Manitoba has the athletes to do it. Quebec has the athletes to stop them, though, too. Here's a quick flip out to the receiver, and well read there. Looked like that play was cut down pretty much right away.
Bouchard, Cedric Bouchard, first time we've called his name.
David, this was the name. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong side. There we go. Good. That was Cedric Bouchard.
Cedric Bouchard, yeah.
Avoided one there.
Yeah, I love the way he kept his leverage there. That outside force, turns the play in, and makes the tackle. Really good individual play by Bouchard.
Gain of just 1 here for Manitoba. They're looking to the corner. They got a guy open! Touchdown! Manitoba breaks the goose egg. It's Bonamon.
Bonamon on the corner out wide open. Little smash concept for all those kids. Not even kids. All those people that play Madden out there now, right? So you got the wide receiver either runs a quick slant or a little hitch, and the slot back runs that deep corner to the pylon there on the out. And I like that concept because it's a nice quick read for the quarterback, right? We call those either-or reads. Okay, so he's reading one guy there to see if he comes low, he goes here. If he stays high, he goes down here. So they make that one look easy.
Not sure how the math works out in my head right now, but wonder if they might be thinking about 2 points coming up here. They will go for the single, and it's going to get blocked.
52. Breaking through like a bull in a china shop. Is that Rodane Smith? 6'1", 247 pounds with some motor coming through.
But Manitoba able to capitalize with an impressive drive. 2 big catches for Bonamon. Like we talked about, he's been getting open. Just hasn't quite been able to reel it in yet. But overall, though, I think especially in an event like this, it hasn't been drops necessarily either. It's been either well-defended plays or a couple times where there's been a ball that's just been out of his reach. But Bonamon has flashed pretty well today.
Yeah, he has, definitely. And again, whoever Manitoba ends up playing next midweek, they're going to have to be watching the film, getting their defensive game plan installed, and Bonamon is one guy that they are going to have to take note of. Looks like we're going to go onside kick here for Manitoba.
And Quebec's in a bit of a scramble. The quicker Manitoba goes, the better off they'll be, because Quebec, they're scrambling.
Yeah,
they're going to get that 10 yards right away. I think
they could kick it deep to the right.
They could. Good onside kick here, but it is Quebec able to recover. Like the idea, though, for Team Manitoba. However, the hands unit, that was the running back, Des Rousseau, coming down with it.
Yeah, I love the idea. Good on the Manitoba coaching staff for doing that. You just got a big play, a really nice drive for Manitoba. By far the best drive of the day, really their only real drive of the day. So why not go for it at this point in the game?
Now it looks like Des Rousseau was taking a knee, kind of limping off to the sideline.
Yeah, he took a pretty good lick when he got his hands on that ball.
So into the game at quarterback, or staying in rather, will be Elliot Drapeau.
Still got the starting running back in there, LeMay.
Chance for Team Quebec to add to their big lead here late. LeMay bouncing it out right. He's going to have some big yards here. Gets past the first down marker and then inside the 40-yard line. And LeMay breaks off another big one. If he wasn't already, he's definitely over 100 yards now.
Yeah, he's well over 100 now. And smart play by LeMay to go out of bounds. I know a lot of the young running backs do not like to run out of bounds. And I love toughness like that. But that's smart. At this stage in the game, man, don't take those extra hits. At that point, get out.
And that's the thing. You have to play on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's not often in your football career you're going to play 3 games within the span of 7 days.
No, that's tough to do. That's asking a lot of these players physically and mentally.
Quick look out to the right on the out route, and looked like it was reeled in for a second, but ends up coming off the fingertips of Hubert Drouin.
Yeah, but good timing on that, though. I like the timing. Drapeau puts the ball right where it needs to be as the receiver's coming out of his break on that little comeback route to the sidelines. Very catchable ball. And again, like these guys, like you're right, you said they look like they're mid-season form. I would even go further than that. They look like they're ready for a playoff run here. And I guess that's what really this tournament is, right? It's playoffs right from the start. Get a free play.
ends up getting sacked behind the line of scrimmage anyways, but likely an offside here on Manitoba.
Yeah, that defense jumped. And I think that was Kristen Neufeld who takes the QB to the turf, but that sack will not stand.
I want to thank GameStrat for helping out with this tournament, a sports software company that provides coaches with the ability to have instant replay during the game on the sidelines, bench, or up in the press box. Coaches are able to make real-time adjustments with GameStrat, improving their overall team performance. They've quickly become the gold standard when it comes to sideline replay solutions for coaches, especially for football programs all across North America. GameStrat prides itself on the quality of their products and customer service. Their system has the fastest video transfer times in the industry, and of course, they're also being extremely reliable and easy to use. You can visit GameStrat.com and see for yourself. Handoff is blown up in the backfield. Ball is loose, and Manitoba's on it. And they got a chance to return it. Nothing but green in front for Manitoba. And they're into the end zone. Touchdown.
That 82, Zaluski?
And it was
92.
Joshua Ayer on the return.
Oh, Ayer's got some wheels. He runs like a wide receiver. And I believe that was Gillespie who came in off the edge to force that turnover. Man, Nostradamus over here beside me predicting the future, hey? You get a bounce, the defense scores. You called that one, Connor. Gets him right back in the game.
Good thing we have a French stream, because the Manitoba people are probably really happy with me now.
Right?
And everyone watching from Quebec is not watching this one, probably. So that's good.
Don't go to the La Belle Province in the near future. But how about the wheels there of 92?
And good to punch it out there. Playmakers on that Manitoba defense. Now a big play here, trying to cut the deficit to 11. Manitoba going for 2. They boot out right. There's a flag on the play. They go to the back of the end zone, and it's out of the reach of the receiver, Max Payne. We'll check this flag, though. It came late in the play as the quarterback was booting right, and it will be against the offense, so penalty might be applied on the kickoff here.
Yeah, procedure call. And again, I'm just not real pleased with what I see out of the rollout pass game. Too many times I feel that Ansiu is trying to throw across his body. He's stopping his feet on the rollout and he's trying to throw across his body, which is not a recipe for success. So they've got to maybe get back to the drawing board and practice with some of these concepts they have in the passing game from the rollout, because clearly he's not seeing what the coaches want him to see on that rollout. He's not getting the ball out of his hands, and he's throwing the ball late, and that's dangerous.
I don't know about you, Chad, but I'm sensing more life in this Manitoba sideline than I seen earlier on in the game.
Yeah, not many kids on the bench anymore.
No.
They're up. Look at the coaches. They're
and there's a bit, you can sense that, we're not in exactly a close game yet, but if they can score once more before that 3-minute warning, it could be a scary finish here for Quebec. And you're sensing that Manitoba's starting to see the door crack open a little bit here. Will they be able to burst through it? They only got 8 minutes and 9 seconds to do it, down by 13. That being said, they've scored 12 in the quarter already.
Hey, it's a 2-score game with over 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter of a Canadian game. So it's not over. So if anybody was thinking about going to cut the grass or whatever it is they're doing on a hot day, don't do that.
Turn it off.
Don't do that. And the momentum has shifted to Team Manitoba. So I'll be interested to see if Quebec, if they are to secure this ball, do they come out with their starters back in on offense?
Remember last time Manitoba went for the onside kick, and whistles here, they were going to go for that onside kick again, and then Quebec called a timeout.
Yep.
Just as they were about to go for it, Quebec was not ready for the onside kick, and this is going to force a decision here now for the Manitoban special teams, because Quebec's probably going to line up to recover that onside kick.
Yeah. And a lot of teams sort of overcompensate. So right now, again, I don't know how much time they've devoted in practice to having a hands team out there, how to adjust and slide depending on what the kickoff team comes out in. But if I'm Manitoba now, so they showed four to the right. Okay, so if I'm Manitoba, I go back to what they did on the last kickoff, and now I line up 2 out here. Okay, because I think Quebec called that timeout because they're probably going to try to compensate, right?
But now do you kick it deep now that they've brought everyone up and try to play the field position game where now they might be back 10 or 15 yards?
And this is where, and these are all-stars, right? So you could tell them in either or instruction, right? So if the defense aligns this way and you have it, take your shot. If not, kick it deep, right? But yeah, and this is what they're doing. So now Manitoba comes out, right, with just the 2 players here now. And I love all this space. Well, okay, now they're motioning over.
Kick came out a little early.
Just got to wait for it to get whistled in.
And it was never whistled in.
That just didn't look good for Manitoba at all. As the players, the kicker's got to give the players time to get in place.
The kicker kind of went on his own there, and the players weren't quite motioning upwards yet. The last onside kick was good, even though Quebec recovered it. It was kind of that bouncing ball, got around the 10-yard mark on the kick, and it wasn't an easy one to recover. They gave themselves every chance, and now they'll try it for the 3rd time here. And now Quebec might know what's going on. We'll see, though, in a different formation again for the kicking team, though.
Yeah.
And now they're booting the 3 over like they did earlier. Kick off to the right. It's up and brought down by Quebec, and smart there. Just take the knee if you're the hands team. That was Gabriel Henriquez Guzman.
He's a big 6'3" receiver. I mean, that's probably not the guy you want to kick the ball right to. I would have loved to have seen your suggestion where you actually kick it deep then, because Quebec was in a pretty good situation with their personnel and their alignment. So why not kick it deep into the open space? Give your guys a chance to run down and recover that ball.
Yeah, the returner was on about the 20-yard line on the far side of the field. So you're talking 40 yards of space possibly. Running play here for Team Quebec is going to go for 5 or 6 yards. Jan Tremblay calling his own number. Actually, do we have 2 quarterbacks in here right now? Wow.
Tremblay's in our running back. This is the Taysom Hill of Quebec high school football.
We were kind of joking about it, how he's going to play tight end, and that was the name that popped into my head. Right. And I'm like, I'm not going to say it. But now Tremblay, who's been in at short yardage, is in at running back. And Elliot Drapeau staying in at quarterback. So interesting look here. Maybe you got to watch out for something on a pitch and a halfback toss. Maybe later on they're going to give it to Tremblay again. He's got some room in front of him, and he's going to be taken down right around the marker.
It's close.
I think he has it maybe.
I like the way he reached.
We could see the chain gang on this one. Putting the ball down, and where they're putting it down, it actually looks a little short, just an inch or two. And remember, they've had a lot of success so far on short yardage today. Manitoba hasn't been able to hold them for under 5 yards yet.
Yeah, this is when I'm sure the Quebec coaches feel pretty confident.
But you never know.
But, hey, you always got to worry under center about a fumbled snap. Not jinxing anything.
Tremblay goes right.
He's gone.
And he's going to get a touchdown. Jan Tremblay into the end zone. They needed an inch. They got about 1,000 of them. And Quebec takes a 31-12 lead.
Well, that's likely the nail in the proverbial coffin here for Manitoba. But again, short yardage like that, lots of times seams will come open, sort of in that off tackle, sort of that C gap, if you will. And I like the way Tremblay, though, keeps his shoulders square north-south as he's looking for that gap. And then when he hits it, he's got some wheels for a big boy. I mean, that guy's 240-some-odd pounds. He's the high school Taysom Hill. That's what it looks like.
Just needs to catch a pass.
Right.
So Manitoba will look to extend the lead to an even 20 off the extra point. Hayden Craig on the kick. Ball in the air is good. And like you said, Chad, that looks like the icing on the cake. Just as Manitoba was starting to get some momentum back on their side, I mean, if they get a stop there, they're down 2 possessions, 6.5 minutes left, and you're starting to think maybe, just maybe. Instead, Jan Tremblay runs at 40 yards on the short yardage play, and his average right now on short yardage plays is gaudy. It's got to be up above 50 yards after the 40-something yard run.
And like, what an answer for the Quebec offense. So again, it looks like the offense took their foot off the gas a little bit, and then when they needed it most, they responded and they they answered. So again, if you're the Quebec coaches, you've got to be happy with the way your offense responded in a time of need. But at the same time, you're saying, hey, 3 days from now when we're playing again, we can't get sloppy and let momentum get away from us, because if it's Saskatchewan they're playing in a few days, that type of momentum shift, you're not going to get it back from a team like Saskatchewan. So maybe some learning lessons to be had here in the quarterfinal game for Team Quebec.
Well, you can tell Saskatchewan is going to be playing next because there's a guy right below our broadcast booth with like a Hawaiian Rider shirt on. I love it.
Oh, man, that's formal wear in Saskatchewan.
Kick received by Manitoba just outside the 20, and that's where they'll snap it when they get their drive going. In Saskatchewan, I've heard about what this Saskatchewan team is going to be, and it's almost like you hear kind of like it's almost the way that people have talked about them. It's like they're an urban legend right now. I've heard that they are something else. So right now Quebec looks really good, and if I'm being told that Saskatchewan could be even better, I'm a little scared about what that might look like.
Well, and this is why I say it could be really interesting a few days from now. Because, yeah, I'm hearing Saskatchewan as the team to beat. I believe, we covered some of that Western Challenge last year where Team Saskatchewan just dominated. And a lot of those players from that Western Challenge will be up here with the under-18 team here at the Football Canada Cup. And they got a couple returners as well back from that gold medal team last year. But, it's going to be interesting. That's why you got to play the game, right? It doesn't matter what all the prognosticators think and say. It doesn't really matter what you're seeded coming into the tournament. You just got to go out there and you got to play. And if there's one thing we know, all these teams are going to be well coached. Okay, so players have got to win the games. Coaches can set you up to be in a good position, but players got to get out there and play. Players are going to win these games and decide them.
Well, Ontario is already in the semifinal, and then Quebec looking to punch their ticket here in 6 minutes, 20 seconds of game time. If they do win, they can actually avoid Saskatchewan. They would play the winner of the fourth game today, which is between Alberta and Nova Scotia. And that game will take place at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. Handoff out to the right, and able to turn out a couple extra yards there is Jack Babbage. But stopped for a short gain.
Another tough carry by Babbage. I mean, he's breaking numerous tackles just to get back to the line of scrimmage. And number 7 there on Team Quebec, Saint Martin, going for that football. Again, it doesn't matter what the score is. These guys on defense, they're playing, and they want that ball. They want to make plays. Quebec brings the blitz. 2 linebackers coming right up the middle.
Ansiu booted left. Has a bit of space in front of him. Motions for a receiver to come back a little bit, and then the pass falls short. And that should bring out the punting unit for Manitoba once again, although they've been aggressive in going for onside kicks and punts, but this time they'll bring out the punting unit.
Yeah, Ansiu, I mean, you could tell he's a good athlete. He can move, he can run, but he looks a little uncomfortable when he's on the move throwing the ball. It breaks down and it's not very fluid. He wants to buzz his feet and sort of reset, but he's not actually resetting, and he's trying to throw across his body. So, Manitoba has some things that they can definitely clean up. That's all fixable. Not sure how many hours of practice time they're going to have before their next game, but a lot of these things we're seeing from Manitoba is fixable.
Adam Bateman in to return the kick for Team Quebec. And he'll get about 6 yards up just past midfield.
And I'm surprised DiCaprio didn't block that one. He came clean off the edge. So, again, we talk about correctable or fixable things that on the punt team, the punt protection needs I think, some time in the film room, because all day Quebec has had a free rusher. So credit to the punter for actually getting the ball off.
Quebec with the ball at the 54-yard line. Still in a somewhat 2-quarterback set here, with Jan Tremblay lined up at running back, fresh off of a 40-yard quarterback sneak. Tremblay cutting it back up towards the middle. Oh, a huge stiff arm. And boy, off of like 4 or 5 quarterback sneaks and 2 runs, he's going to be at 100 yards.
Hey, I'm glad we're getting to see a little bit more of the versatility of Tremblay. Because, I mean, you look at his body, right, and you say, okay, well, he sort of looks like that picturesque prototype pocket passer, big boy, who also could double up as a tight end. But then you see him in the backfield, and man, he can bounce it outside, throws a stiff arm. He's got a little shake and shimmy to his game.
Tremblay would scare me if I was a defensive back. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, man. Well, he's
Wouldn't
a
want
weapon.
to tackle him. Standing at 6'4", 245. He's going to get the ball again. And this time, Manitoba took a few of them, but they're going to get him down just past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Manitoba just sort of chomped down on that one. 98 off the edge. Zach Pedlow, probably the first guy in on contact around the knees, which is where you got to go against the big 245-pound back. But that's another play when Quebec looks at the film. There's been a couple of times, I thought Drapeau could have pulled that one. And I know Drapeau looks like he's the number 2 QB coming in, but, you see the DNs or the edge men chomp down on that run. You got to be able to pull that.
Pressure being brought here by Team Manitoba. And 3 players making contact with Drapeau, and they'll take him down for the quarterback sack.
Yeah, Jack Losh in there. And Pedlow, again, looks like they're probably going to combine for a half-sack stat. I like when D linemen wear number 61. It doesn't happen very often. Hey, say, that kid maybe made the team as an O-lineman and they converted him over. He's probably a two-way player at his high school. Lausch from St. Paul's, which is well represented on this team.
Quebec bringing in the punting unit. Manitoba sending the pressure. This one is deep. It's going to bounce inside the 15. And Manitoba without much of a chance as a return here just past the 10.
And get four blue uniforms in on that tackle on the special teams. So love the hustle that Quebec is showing late in the game, and you still got guys hauling rear end downfield to get in on a tackle.
Not a lot of room for Raham at any point in the game tonight on the return. Stick around, by the way, after the game. We're going to stay here for the post-game offensive and defensive player of the games for either team. Chad?
Prediction time?
Go for, I think, prediction time. Team Quebec offensively, there's a couple names you could go for.
Yeah, no, definitely. You got to look at the 6'8" receiver out of Quebec, probably Goupil.
Pass out to the left. And nice little pitch and catch there for Team Manitoba. Is Brady Fay able to pick up some positive yards? Well, because we always go for different guys whenever we do this, I'll go with Leonard LeMay. But I think you're going to win. I'll let you have Foote pick on that one.
All right. Well,
but wouldn't be mad to see LaRue either. Like, we're picking a receiver. Someone's got to get him the ball.
That's true.
So it could be really any one of those 3 offensively for Quebec. Really a positive, just total team effort on defense. It's been up and down a great effort. Really tough to make a prediction there. Team Manitoba looking to put up some yards late, and they're able to find Corbin Kinchin along the sideline for a first down.
There you go. And see you again. Breaks contained there as he's flush, but he threw the ball much better there on the rollout. He didn't try to buzz those feet, and he just sort of threw a nice fluid pass there on the run. But yeah, a defensive player for Quebec, I mean, like,
could be anybody.
What do you say? That whole entire D line's been pretty dominant.
And then Manitoba as well. They will get their Player of the Game awards as well. Probably looking at Jack Babbage. Maybe he's had a couple of the bigger games.
That's that would be my pick for their offensive players.
Other option there would be Bonamon.
Yeah, Bonamon's had some nice plays, but I love the effort that we've seen from Babbage as that ball went in the dirt there to bring up second down. But defensively...
Yeah, I get first on this one.
Okay.
I get first on this one. I'm looking at Matthew Gillespie all day. He's probably in the double digits in tackles.
Yeah.
Second and
Okay,
10
I
from
got.
Manitoba.
I gave you Goupel.
Okay, you got it. I got Danica then. Jesse Danica, number 43, or Danica. I hope I pronounced that right, folks. But he's also had another standout game.
Manitoba first and 10 with under 2 minutes left to play. Hit as he throws was Ansiu, and there's going to be a flag here
Flag down
on the hit.
play there.
Yeah, at 44 can complain all he wants, but you can't bring the quarterback to the turf like that. Boulon. Yeah, the quarterback clearly released the ball, and 44 kept driving him down to the turf. They're going to call that every time in this province. I know he looks upset about it. I'm not sure how they're calling the minor high school rules in the province of Quebec, but I've definitely seen enough of those over the past few years to know that that is a gimme call for the officials.
Got a lot of football still on the docket today. Even after this game, we're only going to be halfway through, Chad. Coming up next will be Team Saskatchewan in the 4 o'clock game, taking on Team New Brunswick, the 1 seed versus the 8 seed. We'll see what all this talk about Team Saskatchewan is all about as we wait for the call. And then at the 7 o'clock game, Team Alberta in the 2 seed will take on Team Nova Scotia. Pretty good crowd here. I see a few people made their trip on the way from Quebec.
Yeah, no, it's great to see family and loved ones making the trip across the country to come out here and to support their sons, or brothers, nephews, whatever it may be, grandsons. What a spectacular tournament. Again, I can't say how fantastic it is to be able to see the wealth of talent coming out of these provinces. So looks like we got 2 fouls on the play. Yeah, and roughing the passers, definitely one of them.
There's a lot going on there in those conversations with the officials. In the end, the ball gets put down at the 49-yard line for Manitoba, and they were able to break the goose egg here in the 4th quarter, able to put up 12 points. Maybe they'll put a couple more here. They have a minute 45 to do it with 61 yards to the end zone. Ansiu, they'll fake the flip up. Ansiu takes it on his own. He's going to have a decent gain here as he crosses the 50-yard line on the Quebec side, and that'll be good for a first down.
Yeah, I like that. Dial up more of that. So a little quarterback counter action off that little pop fly look. Okay, so you got the defense, motioning one way horizontally to stop that essentially jet sweep, and then you're going to run it back the other way with 2 pulling linemen. I'm a big fan of getting the quarterback involved in the run game.
Ansiu, boost to the right, feeling some pressure and able to put it right on the numbers of his receiver, Tanner Zaleski.
Yeah, good ball there by Ansiu, and this is what I mean. These are the little wins. There's no such thing as moral victories in football, but you want to see some improvements. You want something positive that you can take away from this game, and Manitoba's getting some of that.
Player down here for Quebec is Damien Gravel.
One thing I will say with Manitoba, with some of their passing game, that running back comes up awfully early to set that edge. And again, you're just giving the defense just that little tip off, that extra second tip off where they can drop back into their zones or lock down. So, if I'm Manitoba, maybe I look at some of that. Again, just a lot of these correctable things, right? That I look to this team to be much improved a few days from now when they take the field again.
And they've definitely gotten better as the game has went along here. And like you said, it might be a little bit of Quebec letting off the gas pedal, but in the end, you still got to make the pass. You still got to run the yards. You still got to drive through tackles. You still got to make the tackle. And I promise you that individual players on Quebec, the way they came out to this game, you knew they were going to be motivated the whole way through.
Yeah.
It was a little
fired
scary.
Up bunch of boys.
It was a little scary.
Yeah.
And they were fired up. They threw that Quebec flag down and planted it at midfield so hard you could almost feel the ground shake from up here.
And it looked like they were talking trash. It might have been French and I didn't understand it. Maybe it wasn't trash, but yeah, they were fired up, man. And and they started the game just as they took the field. They were ready to go, ready to play. And Manitoba, they fought hard here. I like that there's no give up. There's not quit. There's not a bunch of pouty, the old hangdog look, right? Like these guys are still up there. They're involved. They're cheering on their teammates, and they're fighting right to the end.
And see you play action one way, rolls the other. Might have some yards out in front of him. And thrown into triple coverage. It's hauled down by a guy in blue. Another interception for Team Quebec. This one by Anthony DiCaprio. A long return out across the 30, where he's finally driven out of bounds. And that is the icing on the cake and the cherry on top for Team Quebec.
Yeah, and that's another rollout by Manitoba, where again the quarterback's trying to throw across the body. They've got to fix that, and it's fixable, right? If you look. He wants to buzz his feet. He actually stops, and he's thrown back across his body. And good things rarely happen when you do that. And again, little on the offensive line there, they had a nice, we used to call it a little greasy O block. We haven't had our O-line do that in a long time, where in order to get that rollout, you have a lineman actually reverse and pivot around and pull out, which is a pretty athletic play for an offensive lineman. So I like to see stuff like that coming from these all-stars.
Man, Tremblay was met at the line of scrimmage and just keeps those legs going and is able to turn out a few hard-earned yards there for the Quebec offense.
Yeah, he's a load. He's actually a nice late-game change-up to Tremblay, because he's 245 pounds, and even you got to get him to stop his feet, right? But even if you do that, he just leans forward. He's tall too, so he's going to get a few yards no matter what.
Well, if Quebec ends up making a run and going to a finals, I'm not missing the game. That's all I know. They are an entertaining offense to watch play.
Yeah, they are. It's been an entertaining game, and again, it wasn't close for very long, but I think anybody who's watching this game can say, hey, man, I saw a good game of football this afternoon. And we're sweating off the pounds up here.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little hot in this booth. So you can imagine if it's hot in here, just being in the direct sun on the field.
With a helmet and equipment on. I'm, sometimes as a commentator, you get a little dressed up, throwing the dress pants. I texted Dave from IC Live Video, and I said I am not wearing long pants. It is a shorts and a t-shirt type of day. I went a little more professional with the polo.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, I made sure my shirt had collars, okay, but yeah.
It's hot enough that it's almost a tarps
Right.
off day for some of the cameramen out there.
Well, if it gets any hotter in here, man, next game, I'm telling you. Don't turn the cameras on in here, okay?
You are one camera flip around from being in a little bit of trouble next game, is what you're saying.
That's right.
There was an offside there on Manitoba, so it'll make it a second and short here for Quebec. And I think if memory serves me right, weather's supposed to stay pretty warm all week. Actually, I lied. It's going to get a little chillier on Wednesday, high of 25, low of 12. And then obviously it's projecting out quite a ways, but next weekend there is a small chance of some thunderstorms. Big hit there, but Quebec able to turn out first down yardage once again.
Yeah, they move the sticks, and they should just be able to kneel this one out now. But that's the hustle Manitoba is showing, right? Like, the game is, fait accompli, but they're still throwing the bodies around, being as physical as possible.
On the 45-yard line.
Could be the last snap of the game here if Quebec wants it to be. And they are going to go into victory formation here, as Elliot Drapeau will let the clock run to zeros and take the knee. And that'll do it from Foote Field. Team Quebec with a dominant performance, winning this one 32-12.
Yeah, a very complete performance by Team Quebec. And, maybe as we get a moment here before the announce, because the guys that are never going to get announced for these individual awards, I think, were huge difference makers, and that's the offensive line of Team Quebec. So on that offensive line, we have Iskander, or Ikander, Degagne, Rinfret Rasset, Belgiorno, and fall. As that starting 5-man unit, they were dominant. They asserted their will early on in the game, which I thought really opened up opportunities for the offense as the first quarter and first half wore on. So big credit to the big boys up front. They're not going to get individual honors, or I'd be shocked if they did, but they deserve some credit.
These two teams will shake them up, and then we'll see who our player of the games are. Coming up right away here, in about 40 minutes from now, will be Team Saskatchewan in the 1 seed taking on Team New Brunswick. And then there's still a nightcap. Team Alberta and Team Nova Scotia will kick off at 7 o'clock tonight. Long day of football. But is there a better way to spend a Sunday in Alberta than 4 games of football?
And if you're watching on IC Live, I mean, hey, take the phone, take the iPad out to the deck, kick up your feet, pour yourself a nice cold iced tea or whatever it is, and get ready to watch some more entertaining football.
Veuillez vous aligner sur vos lignes de 45 verges pour les présentations et les honneurs.
Always nice to be able to hop on for the commentary action on Football Canada today on their YouTube channel. So a lot of work goes into putting these things together, and can't thank everybody enough on the crew and the guys that are in the booth beside us, the announcers, all the statisticians, everybody out there.
Yeah,
has to work so hard, all the organizers, the sponsors, and the partners. So much goes into events like this.
Yeah,
and so far it's gone off without a hitch for the first 2 games.
All these volunteers with their Football Canada shirts on, working hard here. Seeing Mr. Tim Enger from Football Alberta out here, working hard, and they deserve credit.
C'est Brian Fryer, Chief Financial Officer for Football Alberta.
So player of the game's coming up right away.
Brian Fryer, Chief Financial Officer.
I mean, even putting those logos onto the ground on the far side, painting those logos in, those
looks good.
Football Alberta, oh, they look beautiful.
The game award for Manitoba is number 32, Matthew Gillespie.
There you go.
One for you, Connor, one for you.
Matthew Gillespie. What a game on the defensive side of the ball for Manitoba today.
And the winner of the most valuable offensive player, le joueur offensif du match pour l'équipe du Manitoba, Jack Babbage.
And it is Jack Babbage. Had a big run today, big catch.
We both agreed on that one, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We'll call it a tie.
Yeah.
Even in a 20-point loss, though, a game like this, you're still going to have players that really show up and show out. And you see the talent levels. I mean, with how good Quebec looked, there's a reason the score got close there in the 4th quarter. And it's because of players like Jack Babbage playing hard till the final whistle.
The most valuable defensive player of the game, le joueur défensif du match, numéro 55, Tasquet Gaston.
Oh, and off the board for us there as they go to Tasquet Gaston.
Yeah, he's a disruptive force. Again, that whole defense for Quebec I thought was incredibly solid.
It really could have went to anybody. And Tasquet Gaston, game wrecker up the middle, the linebacker.
He's man-sized.
And the winner of the most valuable offensive player, le joueur offensif du match pour l'équipe du Québec, numéro 2, Antoine Goupil.
And it will go to Antoine Goupil on the offensive side. Couple of touchdowns, over 100 yards receiving. They didn't even have to use him in the second half by the time he was done his work.
Yeah, he had over 100 yards, a couple of TDs in the first half, so it's not like I went out on a limb on that pick, but Connor, we're still tied, man. We're tied, right? So I guess we got one more game where we can kind of declare who's the winner.
Saskatchewan and New Brunswick coming up next in about 35 minutes. For now, Team Quebec taking a big win, 32-12 over Manitoba. Thanks for watching, everyone, and stick around for some more football here from Foote Field at the 2023 Canada Cup.